The first time I saw the Mourne Mountains cloaked in mist, I was just 15. It was just after the rain had stopped, and the clouds clung to the peaks like a shroud. My Uncle Dan had taken me there, though he hadn't said why, and I didn't ask. Back then, you didn't ask questions. Not in Northern Ireland, not during the Troubles. We drove in silence, the tension so thick it felt like it pressed against my chest. When we reached the foot of the mountains, we parked and started the climb. The path was rough, the air colder with every step. We passed ruined stone cottages and bare trees, their branches stretching like bony fingers. I kept my mouth shut and followed Dan. Eventually, we reached a clearing. The ground dipped in odd places, and a ring of stones sat there, some toppled over. Don placed a package wrapped in brown paper in the center of the circle and told me to wait. Stood there, my breath clouding in the cold air. That's when I heard it, a low, guttural voice coming from the woods. My skin prickled. Don. I called out, but my voice barely carried. In the shadows, I saw a figure tall, wrong, moving as if it wasn't walking, but gliding toward me. My chest tightened, I couldn't move. Dan, I whispered again, but he didn't turn. The figure stopped, its shape barely visible in the trees. And then, just like that, it was gone. Dan walked back to me, his face as calm as ever. "Job's done," he said. As we drove home, I asked, "Who was that?" Don didn't look at me. "Not everything in these lands belongs to men," he said quietly. "Some things never left. Forget tonight, it stays here." Years later, I returned to the Mournes. I'd joined the IRA by then. You didn't survive the streets of Belfast without picking a side, and I'd chosen mine. Orders came down for me to retrieve something from the mountains, a solo job. By the time I reached the designated spot near the summit, the night was pitch black. Mist curled around me, thicker than any I'd seen. The air felt wrong, heavy. My breath came out in short, visible puffs. I stood in the clearing, waiting, when the voice came again. Tommy McGrath. It wasn't human. It vibrated in the air, deep and ancient, coming from everywhere and nowhere all at once. I froze. My hand went to the pistol at my side. "You've been chosen," the voice said, low and terrible. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. The fog closed in, and the cold seeped into my bones. I don't remember how long I stood there, or how I made it back down the mountain. All I know is this: I never went back. Some things in this world aren't meant to be understood.